Hey everybody, I'm Will.
And I'm Ashley.
And we'll be walking with y'all through the Citizen Promise program throughout this year. So let's hop into our first topic.
As Americans, we all hold a very important title, and that title is citizen. And being a good citizen can start by being a good member of your family. And that can look different for everyone, family being your parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, and even your friends. Being a good citizen in your family means being supportive when they are in need, reliable, and loving to those around you.
Yeah, and another way to be a good citizen at your age would be being a good student. So to be a good student, that should start with an eagerness to learn. And that eagerness, we hope, would be complemented by responsibility and discipline. So whether that's talking about your study habits or your attendance record or just your overall willingness to prepare for the future. You should be extremely excited as a student to take the lessons you're learning right now, and whether that's through the Citizen Promise program or in the classroom, you should be extremely excited to take those lessons, to let them soak in and then implement them, whether that's currently or in the future. And the future will look different for everybody. Some of you will go to college, some of you will enter the workforce, but you should be excited about the opportunity to take the things you're learning and use them to be presently and to become a good member, a good citizen in a functioning society.
In some ways, you can participate in a functioning society at your age are civic clubs, community outreach, and jobs. Those are all ways you can be proactive in your communities. I know, this may seem like a lot, you're still young and you have a lot going on. You're probably thinking, how can I uphold this title? How can I, as a teenager, be proactive as a citizen in my community?
Yeah, not that long ago, we were also in your shoes. So our goal now is to help you navigate through and use some of the experience that we've had. So our goal will be to help you in this phase of your life as you prepare for the future.
Right. So through the Citizens Promise program, you will be able to have the opportunity to submit citizen actions forms, where you will potentially win a $1,000 grant based on the actions you perform in your community. You will also have the opportunity to submit questions to us through our Citizens Promise website and our social media pages that we will answer right here. And to start things off with our first question, we have, what exactly is freedom of speech and how can I use it?
That's a really good first question. So we as American citizens have rights, and one very important right that we have is the right to freedom of speech. In a nutshell, freedom of speech means that you're free to express your opinion, you're free to take a stance on something and be outspoken without fear of censorship. And I'm sure all of you are aware, just as we're aware, that recently there's been a significant uptick in people feeling the need to utilize their right to freedom of speech.
Exactly. And you might be thinking, people saying how they feel sounds like trouble. But the desire to use this and to be heard is actually a good thing and is actually one of the reasons why our country was founded.
Yeah, we left a country that did not allow freedom of speech and created one that would allow that and many other freedoms. So therefore, not only is it just okay to want your voice to be heard, it's actually encouraged through the Constitution.
So how can I use freedom of speech? Well, you can start by attending local meetings such as town hall meetings and city council meetings. These offer up opportunities for citizens to come together and offer up suggestions and talk through issues with the representatives in their community. If you decide you want to attend one of these meetings, make sure you know your facts. Be educated, get your facts from both sides, and really think about your ending goal. Another way that you can use your freedom of speech is by attending organized peaceful protests. Throughout the years, we have seen some examples of peaceful protesting, people taking to the streets, holding up signs, and marching together to achieve a common goal such as social change within their community. This has been around for years, longer than you have been alive, and for some of you, even longer than your parents have been alive. And one of the most popular ways of peaceful protesting was led by none other than Martin Luther King Jr., who is believed to have made peaceful protesting popular within the US.
And another way at your age, at any age, but especially your age, to let your voice be heard, to express your opinion would be social media. And social media can be a really good tool, but in the vast scope of human history, it's still incredibly new. So that means we don't always fully understand the implications that will come with our post on social media. So when you're going to post something, it's important to think through three different questions, or I try to think through three different questions when making that post. So one would be, if my family was sitting with me right now, would I still make this post? Or would I still say what I'm about to post? And then two other things for in the future would be, one, when I'm sitting in front of a future employer or someone that's interviewing me for a job, if they were to pull up my social media on their computer screen and flip it around to where we could both see it and go through it, would I be okay with what was on the screen? Or would I be embarrassed about what I've posted? And then outside of that, one day, if you have a family and you have children or grandchildren, in the world we live in right now, they will for sure have social media. And they will definitely find your social media. So one day when your children or grandchildren find the things that you've posted, are you going to be able to explain why you posted it? And are you going to be proud of the things that you've said?
But remember, social media can also be a good tool to have your voice heard. During the recent protest, I've used my voice by signing petitions and posting to my social media about how it's not enough to be not racist, but how people need to be actively anti-racist. And these posts have opened up doors to having conversations with people who might not have thought that way before.
So Ashley, if you posted something or if you were talking with someone and y'all disagreed on something, how would you handle that?
I think it would depend on the person I'm having the disagreement with. If I was having a disagreement with a close friend of mine, I would be more open to having a conversation with them, talking about our differences and why they are different. And if we can't come to an agreement, I may not like it, but I must respect the fact that they are exercising their right to freedom of speech. Whereas with the situation with a stranger, I wouldn't know exactly how to confront them because I don't know how they would react. And that could create an even bigger problem depending on the person. What about you?
Well, I think it's important to understand that we will disagree with people, right? So it's not a matter of if we disagree, but more of when we will disagree. And I think we have to know that people's thoughts, people's opinions are usually formulated based on experiences that they've had. And so when we're able to look through that lens and try to kind of dig and figure out why people feel the way they do, why we feel the way we do, kind of like what you were saying of talking through those things, I think when we do that and still stand for our opinions or stand for the stances we choose to take, I think that's when we're properly exercising our right of freedom of speech. And don't misunderstand me, some things take a tougher stance. We must fight against injustice and we must let our voices be heard on these issues. However, we also need to be patient and we need to talk and think and study and read and try our best to formulate educated foundations for the stances that we choose to take.
That's a good point, Will. Well, I hope that this helped. We have so enjoyed talking with you and we cannot wait to see how you use your right to freedom of speech.
Yeah, we're extremely excited to walk through this program with you over the course of the year and to be here to answer any questions that you may have.
Yes, and you can submit these questions to us through our social media pages and our Citizens Promise website. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Citizen Promise program prepares high school students to be life, career, and citizen ready. Join us as we answer questions and discuss the promise, the process, and the prizes up for grabs as you take part in the program. It's good to have you here.